thought was if anyone had questions about the deal, that I'd make myself available. Seeing none?
Why 10 years this time? Why was that?
It's more than 10 years.
It's more than 10 years.
Yeah.
10-year addition though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty consistent with the marketplace right now. Most of these deals are 12, 13, 14 years. And so our broadcast partner wanted to be in that same ballpark, and that, I understand that. That's where the market has taken these, and given the level of investment, they're interested in a long-term equity relationship. So made sense.
I think the perspective from the outside is this is a strengthening of Notre Dame's independence. Do you see it that way? Or?
I think it strengthens us in a lot of ways. It's not intended to be some signal about independence. Our commitment to it isn't more today than it was 2 years ago. It's the starting point for our planning and what we want to achieve. So in that sense, as we explored our option, making sure it supported independence was important to us.
Is there any language in it that allows for more night games or asks for more night games than just the one here a year and the offsite game?
Yeah, right now, under the old agreement, our commitment is 2 a year,
Okay.
in essence, and so this allows us to explore another one every other year. So instead of 4 in 2 years, we're going to explore 5 in 2 years.
Are you, with what you still have on the table this coming season, is there only going to be the one in Notre Dame Stadium?
Yes.
And then one of the language in it mentioned that it seemed to open the door that a game could be on NBC Sports network, or more than one game, I guess. Do you think that that's a reality, that a regular season game would end up on that network?
Well, Chris, that's a right that already existed in the contract.
Okay.
In the old agreement gave then just NBC that right, and so it was carried over into this agreement. We're interested in helping build the NBC Sports Network. It's a really great partner for us, as you can see by the number of shows we've distributed through it in the past year, shows that we've been responsible for creating. So we don't have any reluctance to have that happen, but it's not something new. It's not in that sense a difference from the relationship we were already operating under.
Do you think your fan base sees it that way, given that not everybody has cable or satellite?
Well, I guess I'd say to the fan base, if it happens, we'll worry about the consequence. But right now, it's a right. It's an option held by the broadcaster, which may or may not be exercised. We'll see. But as this dynamic changes, if you're under X age, I won't pick an age, it always offends somebody, but if you're under X age, that is a distinction that's lost on you. Network, cable, it's programming. More significant in this is the commitment of NBC Comcast to continue to explore the delivery over multiple platforms, because for our younger viewers, that's what they care about. Can they watch it on their iPad?
We've had the benefit of an extra off-site game that NBC was able to cover. Is there anything in the language that will stipulate an amount of home games that they would like?
No, it's just the number of broadcast opportunities we give them. But that was an unusual circumstance. It wasn't our home game that was moved. It was Navy's home game. And so that's why we had an additional off-site experience this year. If we have another opponent who wants to move one of their games, we're certainly open to that. We love exposing Notre Dame to as many people as we can.
Does the TV commitment mean the off-site commitment, the Shamrock Series commitment, goes through 2025 as well?
Not necessarily. It certainly provides an easy way for us to deliver one of those night game obligations. But our belief in the Shamrock Series and our commitment to it relates to how happy we are with that. We think it's a home run, and all it's delivered to our program. New York, Chicago, Washington, Dallas. That's a pretty powerful model, and it's worked very, very well. I love the way it's developed its own identity and brand. Anything else?
I guess while we have you here, is there anything new that you could share with us on Coach Kelly's contract? And do you see anything imminent on the horizon there?
No, there's nothing new to announce, and my predictions in that regard have proved to be historically awful. So I'll stay away from it. But there are no. I don't mean to. I certainly don't want to single anything. There's no issues. There are no big things that are. But all of a sudden we said, "Oh my gosh, how do we solve this?" It's just the normal process of moving forward.
Is your goal sort of to have that done before the start of next season?
Certainly. I mean,
Might we pick your brain on a couple other things?
sure.
Field turf.
I subjected myself to this.
Field turf. Where does that stand?
Nothing in the works.
Nothing in the works?
Right.
So you're committed to having a natural grass field when you replace this sometime in the off season?
We will play on natural grass next year.
Okay.
The replacement, there's a view about the systematic nature of the replacement of our sod, which is a little inaccurate. I mean,
Okay.
we do partial replacements, we do full replacements. It's not every 3 years or every 5 years. This year will be a partial replacement. So there are no magic deadlines for that, but I see nothing in the near term that would move us away from sod, natural grass. That's a weird phrase, natural grass.
Do you see a peaceful resolution to the Arizona State situation in 2014?
I don't want to focus on any one
Uh-huh.
situation. There's a challenge as we knew there would, across the years in allocating 5 ACC games, and on a school-by-school basis, we'll work through those issues. And I don't, one such discussion has gotten some attention, but there's several of them going on and that have to work their way out, and we're engaged in that. But this is not. It's been a lot of schedule changing because of conference realignment. This is schedule changing because of conference realignment. It's a smaller version, but it's a little different version because they're all, as opposed to being conference games in some cases, they're individual contractual games. So it just changes the dynamic, but it's certainly not unusual.
I think when you were in the group talking about the ACC deal, and I think it was your understanding that you submit dates to the ACC and they kick back the opponents to you. Is that still the process? Or?
It is. The date matching is, as I underestimated the challenge of the date matching. So they've got things they're trying to achieve, which we agree with. It makes for the best matchups and promotes the games. And sometimes there's a date that works, and sometimes there's a date that not. It's been a lot more back and forth than I anticipated, but that's because I didn't have a full appreciation for the challenge of putting the pieces together. Not because, gosh, they've been phenomenal to work with. They couldn't be more accommodating and helpful.
Is the back and forth more about we want to play Team X here, or just we don't have the available date here?
Yeah, I mean it's a little of everything. So, let's have you play Team X in this year. Well, here are the dates we have available in this year. Well, Team X can't play on any of those dates in this year. Can you play on this date? Well, let us see if we can move school Y so we can make that date available. And the domino effect is obvious, but I probably underestimated it a little bit. That you'd like to be able to set all 5 at once, but you can't. It's serial, and you think you've got it done, and you move one, and then the other 3 are impacted, and you got to move those. So that's just been the challenge of lining them up. A lot of conversations with a lot of different people.
Well, Eric drew the field turf question, so I'll take the video recorded question. Those seem to go together. So, is there anything that's changed from where you were? think the last time we asked about you was August.
No,
Okay.
no change in any of that. You know, the one thing I'd add, just on the nature of our agreement with our partner here, there are a lot of things that go into this, your confidence in the partner, the economics of it, but one of the things that's most exciting to us, that really drove a lot of how this is shaped, is the remarkable distribution partner that NBC Comcast now is. When you look at the master list of shows that we've distributed on the NBC Sports Network, a network that reaches 80 million homes, which is a very significant number compared to smaller regional networks or conference-specific networks. You know, we have a lacrosse special, a women's soccer special, Notre Dame hockey special, both basketballs, the Sweet Home Chicago special for Notre Dame football, Strong and True, the spring football special, which airs Saturday at noon. The initial airing, I've seen it. It's great. It's really compelling. Our whole Strong of Heart series, which we've now done 6 features, and we've got more to come. This is remarkable to get that level of distribution for university-specific programming. And whether it's the NBC Sports Network, the Comcast Regional Sports Nets, the fact that Comcast is the largest broadband provider in the world, or in the United States, or of course NBC itself. We're really fortunate to have a partner who's creative and engaged and wants to help us get the word out about Notre Dame. And next year, of course, with hockey, having national broadcast of Friday night hockey from Notre Dame will be a special edition.
I wanted to follow up on the field turf question. Pete might have a follow-up that John moved around, but there was a point where there was a thought that you could use the stadium for a lot more things if you had field turf, and there was also some concern about how the natural grass is holding up. Are those still concerns, or was there something that changed that thinking that kind of pushed you back towards natural grass?
You know, I'd say relative to the use of the stadium, what I've come to appreciate a little bit more is there are a lot of things we need to use the stadium more, and that's just one element of them. So it's wrong to give it a priority. You know, down the road, as we contemplate the future of this facility in the very long term, finding more ways to use it and use it more effectively is important. Might turf be a dynamic in that? It may. But alone, it doesn't solve the problem. Really doesn't help you much. Relative to the quality of the grass, I was really pleased last season. You know, I was pretty clear with my disappointment the season before. A lot of people worked very hard to provide a better surface for our team, and I thought it showed. So that was encouraging. Now we'll hopefully be able to repeat that success this year, and again have a really high quality track for our student athletes.
Just on the logistics of the NBC extension, can you give us a sense of when discussions started about 10 years and just how quickly you guys kind of went through that process?
Well, you know, I can't isolate on any element of it. It was a negotiation, so they went back and forth on different topics. But, you know, by and large, it was an 18-month process. Dan, would you say 2 years, 18 months? Which way would you go?
18 months.
18 months. You know, there were times where, you know, for example, the football season, where you'd sort of go quiet for a while because you're focused on other things, and then re-engage. But it was, in all respects, I think it was a sort of normal, productive process. And you know, one of the elements of time was getting a better sense of the market, because you kept on getting market data as new deals came along, and that was important to us. Okay?
Just
Yeah.
one thing off topic. I know you had talked about Manti Te'o as being one of those Derek Jeter, Peyton Manning type figures. Skylar Diggins, as far as not just to the university, but to her sport in general, similar?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And it's why when we did the university-produced interview, we did it with them together, because we view them as very much comparable in terms of the sort of person they are, what they did for their teams, but more importantly, what they contributed to the university. And I think they are two people whose remarkable qualities have enriched the life of everyone who's dealt with them here. I will miss Skylar every bit as much as I'll miss any other student athlete who's ever been here. She has had an enormous impact. Thanks.